Look who's in town at Coors Field. The Los Angeles Dodgers opening up a weekend set against the Rockies, the hottest team in the National League. The Rockies have won 5 straight. They're 3 games north of 500. They're chasing the Dodgers, who are 26 and 21. And everybody right now chasing the San Diego Padres in the NL West. Todd Helton getting ready to go. It is warm down on the field, temperature above 90 degrees. And the familiar locks of Manny Ramirez. Troy Tulowitzki, 5 home runs in his last 7 games. And he was part of a nice outburst yesterday for Colorado as they swept Arizona out of town in 8.
Coming out of spring training, all of a sudden you get 3 in one game yesterday in the back-to-back-to-back. But this is what the offense, in my estimation, Jim Tracy's estimation, that's what it should be doing.
Well, the Dodgers have played good baseball. Earlier in April, they were struggling on the Hill. Since May 15th, these two clubs actually have paralleled each other. The Dodgers 8-4, all without Andre Ethier, we might add. The Rockies 9-4. The team batting average is nothing to shout right home about, but the team ERA is very good.
And that's what it always starts out on the Hill. And you would think about the Dodgers with Ethier going out of there, all of a sudden the record might be 4-8, but it's not, because guys like Chad Billingsley, the young guy that we'll see on Sunday, and Kershaw, guys like that, Kuroda, who we'll see tomorrow, they've really stepped it up. And I think Rick Honeycutt deserves a lot of that credit because he's shown some patience with those guys. But it always goes back to the guy that holds that little white ball out on the Hill, because both sides have been pitching great.
Well, the guy who's going to own the little white ball out on the Hill this afternoon or this evening for the Rockies is Jeff Francis. It'll be his 3rd start. He's been sensational in his first 2. More on him when we come back. tonight as the Dodgers are in town for the first time this year. Rockies lost 2 of 3 in L.A. a few weeks ago, and the Rockies need to turn things around against L.A. That's the familiar refrain for Colorado. Last year, just 4-14 against the Dodgers, and they think they have the right man on the hill in Jeff Francis.
Well, if the last start is any indication, yeah, they sure do. Jeff Francis, 6 1/3 innings, 5 hits, 3 strikeouts, 90 pitches. That's on top of what he did against Washington after he gave up the 1 run in the first inning. He was 12 1/3 scoreless so far heading into tonight's ball game. And Jeff expects this from himself. From a guy that's been out as long as he is, he still is a guy that says, you know what, I should go out there, I should compete, I should throw strikes, I should throw fastballs, changeups, and sliders, and beat this team.
He's had pinpoint control so far. He's been not quite unhittable, but he's been very difficult, obviously, to score against. Well, the third member of our crew, as always, is Alana Rizzo. She has more on tonight's festivities. Alana?
All right, guys, thanks very much. In the game, I'm going to talk a little bit about how the Dodgers pitching rotation is rolling. I'll tell you what Rick Honeycutt told me about the improvement of his staff, and then cast the vote. I'll show you how easy it is to send your Colorado Rockies to the All-Star game in Anaheim. And a De La Rosa update. He's making progress. I'll tell you how much. That's coming up on my end, guys.
All right, Alana, we will look forward to those stories and others. There's Matt Kemp. Dodgers in town. Colorado, Los Angeles. Come on back to 20th and Blake with us. Fun, so little fuel, Ford Escape, drive one. And by Granger with over 900,000 products for the ones who get it done. Glorious night for baseball. Rockies and Dodgers. Game 4 this homestand for Colorado, 3-0 after sweeping the Arizona Diamondbacks. Rafael Furcal, fresh off the disabled list yesterday. He's battled some hamstring issues again this year. He'll be followed in the lineup by Russell Martin. Manny Ramirez struggling since coming off the disabled list a couple of weeks ago. He's in the 3-hole, and Matt Kemp. Casey Blake swung the bat well really all season long. Ronnie Belliard, the former Rocky, will be at first base tonight. Reed Johnson is in the outfield with Andre Ethier, not due back till Monday with the pinky injury. Jamie Carroll is at second base, and Carlos Monasterios doing the pitching. And Jeff Francis concluding his warm-up pitches.
Fastball 86-90, and that's the good thing about Jeff is coming back off of that shoulder surgery. How fast would he be able to throw? And then each time he goes out, that velocity just gets a little bit better, a little bit stronger. Curveball, slider, and changeup. We know he likes that changeup, especially to the righties, where he can work that down and away. Looking for his second win this year after beating Kansas City in his last outing.
Well, first pitch is brought to you by Domino's Pizza. Text keyword pizza followed by a space and your name to 95323 to receive your Domino's special offer and to be entered to win a pizza party for 15. One weekly winner will be chosen. Here we go. For Kyle, takes strike one on the inside corner, a 90-mile-an-hour sinking fastball.
That's nice to see from the first pitch. 90 miles an hour for Jeff. That it's one of those things we don't look for him to light up the radar, but if you see it in the 85, 86. Then you know it's not right.
And that's Jeff Francis. A fastball sinking on the inside corner, and then the fastball at 89 on the black. He went inside, he went outside, and he's got for Kyle 0-2. Shows him the fastball up top.
Well, pitchability. And that's what Jeff does. He works both sides of the plate, but he also elevates. He'll go up, he'll go back down into the zone. He uses all four quadrants.
Ground ball to second. Barmes will throw out for Kyle. One out. Take a look at the Rockies defensively. Seth Smith is somewhat healthy again. He's hitting the long ball. That's felt great. Battles some flu issues. Carlos Gonzalez, Brad Hopp, the infield, Stewart, Tulowitzki, Barmes, and Helton Miguel Olivo. Had yesterday off. He's hitting close to 300 on the season as the catcher for the Dodgers steps in, Russell J. Martin. Martin with 4 home runs. That's mentionable because he didn't hit his 4th home run until August of last year. Breaking ball misses to Martin.
It was kind of amazing, too, because he had missed that time in spring training with the leg injury, wondering if he was even going to be available for opening day.
On the ground to third. Good pickup by Stewart. He'll wait for Helton to get in position. Todd is battling that sun. It's that, you know, the game time tonight is 7 o'clock, and this time of year, Huey, that sun is right in the first baseman's eyes.
Well, not many times you see a first baseman at 7 o'clock at night wear sunglasses and the flip downs, and that's exactly what Todd has to do. Hard smash by Russell Martin. Todd goes over and flips him down immediately, and Ian Stewart does the right thing. Just wait and keep moving his feet, close the ground to first.
Here's Manny Ramirez, who just stepped up to Boo Birds, and he fouls off the first pitch. I mean, Manny's not only hearing boos on the road, which isn't surprising. He's hearing them a little bit at Dodger Stadium because he has really struggled since coming off the DL. Just a 213 average. And the average is still over 300 because he got off to such a great start.
Well, and then when he's your run producer, guy hitting 3rd or 4th in the lineup, they expect you to hit 300 and some more, and especially the way he is. But the other thing, too, is he comes out and really doesn't endear himself to the fans coming out of spring training because he said this is going to be his last year in L.A. So he says that and then starts not hitting. They're going to come out in full force.
Here's something that may surprise you. It's our Excel Energy fun fact. Most career at-bats without a home run by Stadium. He's never hit a home run at Coors Field. We certainly don't want to jinx that in the positive direction from Manny's perspective. High breaking ball, 2-2. Did you know that you could sign up for an in-home energy audit and learn simple ways to save around your house from Excel Energy? Visit responsiblebynature.com to learn more. 2-2 on Manny Ramirez, who's not homered since April 18th.
They're going to challenge a fastball in.
Well, talking to some people that travel with the Dodgers and have seen every one of Manny's at bats, he's getting beaten on the inner half with the fastball, which is most unusual.
Well, it kind of started a little bit towards the second half of last year after he came back from suspension. Remember, you could be able to get inside and beat him in there.
That's where the Rockies go. Jeff Francis gets 3 groundouts. Well done for Mr. Francis. 4-3, 5-3, 5-3 in your book. We'll see the Rockies on offense when we return. Southwest.com. Seth Smith, he has 3 jacks in the last 2 days. Todd Helton had yesterday off. Troy Tulowitzki, 5 home runs in his last 7 ball games. Brad Hopp at 303. Miguel Olivo around that 300 mark. Ian Stewart, Clint Barmas, and Jeff Francis. And on the hill, a 24-year-old rookie from Venezuela, who's really more of a guy that works out of the bullpen. It's an emergency start for Carlos Monasterios. Pitched a couple of innings in the series in LA against the Rockies. Colorado got a run off of him on 3 hits. Cargo has seen him in winter ball. When I asked him about him, he said changeup. Said he throws a lot of changeups.
Yeah, that's his quality pitch. That's his top-notch pitch that he goes to all the time when he's in trouble, especially the lefties.
This is back through the originator. And whether it's winter ball or summer ball in the States, that kid can swing it.
It just seems like every time he hits the ball, he hits it hard. Scattering report on Monasterios. Fastball 89 to 93 will sit right around the 90-mile-an-hour mark. Changeup, we already mentioned, to lefties. Curveball, well, it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out here at altitude. In LA, it was pretty good, but here, see if he tries to overthrow it and if it just rolls up there. And then just an occasional slider, probably 4 or 5 at most.
Seth Smith pulls it under the glove of Ronnie Belliard. And Gonzalez will go first to third. Ronnie Belliard, who has played first, but throughout his career, he's primarily been a second baseman. And he's in about 50 feet closer than where he's accustomed to playing.
Well, the Rockies probably caught a break with James Loney over there. It's a double play. Having James Loney, pretty good gold glove over there at first. Belliard comes off, and that ball just beat him. It just ate him up. When he comes off the bag, and his feet really get too close together, and he tries to backhand it. And it was just an awkward position to try to field that.
It's an error on Belliard. And Todd Helton, with nobody out, comes up. It's the 3rd start this year for Belliard at first. And this is going all the way to the backstop. And head first slide, safe is Gonzalez. Smith to second, 1-0 Colorado. And Monasterios, who didn't get help from his first baseman a moment ago, is now throwing a little gasoline on the fire.
That was that curveball that I talked about. How would it be here at Coors Field? Tried to throw it, and that ball just kind of sailed on Russell Martin. Goes back and tries to get it. Nice break from Carlos Gonzalez. Don't slide head first, but he does. Gets his hand in there. That's the one time you don't like to see a guy slide head first going into home.
1-0 on Helton. And Todd hits it in the air to center field, and Kemp can really throw, so Smith will tag up, but this is a bluff. Todd's not going to be happy with himself. He wanted to pull that baseball or lift it to the outfield on the right side. 1 out. Troy Tulowitzki will come up. Here's the defense. Manny Ramirez, Matt Kemp, and Reed Johnson in the outfield. Blake Furcal, Jamie Carroll, Ronnie Belliard is at first base, and Russell Martin catches virtually every day. Ronnie's always been a steady glove at second. He has played first. He just flat missed that.
You know what? But it's different coming off of first base. When you don't get that many reps at game speed, it's different if you're taking them before the game. But that ball, the way it was hit, you're 90 feet away. You can practice that all you want, but it's not going to work.
Yeah. Off-speed pitch gets Tulowitzki. And Blake makes the catch. And now Brad Hopp will come up with 2 outs.
Well, Suzuki keys to the ball game tonight. The Dodgers pin. We already talked about Monasterios. This is only his 2nd start. Last one was back in May. So Dodgers are open. Maybe they can get 4 out of him, maybe 5. So the pin's going to be important. And then no Andre Ethier. Reed Johnson's out in right field now instead of Andre Ethier, who should be back on Monday. And then keep moving up. You have 5-game winning streak, 10-8 against the division now. Go get the Dodgers and move in front of them. Start leapfrogging some teams to get to the San Diego Padres.
Brad Hopp, who's always hit Los Angeles pitching well. .353 career average, 20 home runs, 75 RBIs in 87 games.
That's the key. It's not just 7 or 8 games. It's 87 games that he's put up those type of numbers, and some of them have been out in LA too.
Inside, 2-0. You know, the Rockies got the gift from Belliard, and then the wild pitch. They get a quick run. You have a runner at second, nobody out, and now they're going to put on Hop. This is interesting. Early in the game, they're going to put on Hop to pitch to Olivo. This is a bit surprising.
Well,
huh?
not really, just because of what we were just talking about a moment ago, the success he's had against the Dodgers. And maybe they feel more confident that Monasterios will be able to pitch right on right a little bit better. You're not going to let Brad Hop beat you.
Well, I know Joe Torre knows all the numbers, because the guy who's going to pitch to, Miguel Olivo, is hard to get out at Coors Field. He's hitting .439 this year, folks, and that's actually taken his career average at Coors Field down. .463 lifetime. In 67 at bats, he has 31 hits, 6 home runs, 23 driven in here at 20th and Blake. 2 on, 2 outs, 1-0 Colorado. For a strike, and the numbers even better for Olivo over his last few appearances at home. He's 12 for 19 with 3 home runs.
And that's why he took that first pitch slider at 81 miles an hour that was just on the outside corner. He took it.
1-1. And despite the quick run, Monasterios has only thrown 12 pitches.
I know. The Rockies, if they don't get another run, kind of let them off the hook too, because they've had the opportunity with first and third and the wild pitch, runner on second, nobody out.
That's on the corner. You rarely see Miguel. You see him behind sometimes in counts. He's behind 1 and 2, but you rarely see him in this situation without having fired the bat.
Well, and for good reason why he didn't swing at the first two, because, or especially that last one, because it was off the plate. It wasn't a strike.
Two and 2.
Well, that was just for show. Keep him honest in there so he doesn't start cheating towards that outside part of the plate. Now you can look for that slider or something back away from you.
And a line drive, base hit. Smith around third. He'll score. And Miguel Olivo comes through with a 2-out knock. And it's 2-0 Colorado. Got it off a little bit toward the end of the bat, but he stayed with the slider.
Well, and that's the thing. He didn't overswing at it, Drew. And if you overswing at it, it's a rollover ground ball, or you just swing and miss completely. Miguel just reached out and just a nice, easy swing at it. Didn't realize with that ball, there's nothing more that he can do other than just hit a single into the gap to drive in Seth Smith. Slider down and away. But the eyes stay tracking the whole way, and that's what allowed him to do that with the baseball.
And now Ian Stewart is 1 for 1 against Monasterios. Inside. That's a huge hit, because you made a great point, Huey. The Rockies, first and third, nobody out. A run's already in, runner at second, nobody out. You're in the 3-hole, and then 2 pitches later, all of a sudden there's 2 outs, and you're saying, wait a second, you could leave.
Yeah, and the rookie spot starter, too. He's sitting there going, I kind of got through a dangerous part of the lineup.
This ball is lifted to deep right center field. And Kent getting over there will make the catch. In the inning, the Rockies, with the help of a Ronnie Belliard error, pick off a couple of runs.
Thanks very much. A quick update on left-handed pitcher Jorge de la Rosa. He worked out today with head athletic trainer Keith Duggar. They backed him up to 120 feet after taking the tape off of that finger on his left hand. He threw from there, and then they moved him up to 60 feet, put the tape back on, put him back to 120 feet to finish his workout today. There's still no timetable for his return, but he certainly is making some progress. We're waiting to see when he's going to be able to throw from a slope, but Jim Tracy wasn't certain about when he might be coming back, but the reports are good that he's at least headed in the right direction, guys.
Well, that's great news. It's still going to be, weeks, not days, but get a guy back that won 19 games since June 1st of last year.
Well, and the difficult thing is, it's not like a Tommy John surgery or shoulder surgery where you kind of have a protocol on how you're going to treat this and how you're going to move forward. Well, on day 72, you can start doing this, and 75, and you can't do that with this type of injury. They just don't know. It's kind of playing it by sight and feel. Now,
there's some guys that have gone through it. One of them, a Rocky briefly, Adam Eaton, and Keith Duggar has consulted with Eaton about this. Here's the 1-2, and Kemp, a very defensive swing, keeps the at-bat alive. The Rockies aren't going to rush it because you still have the better part of 4 months to go in this season, and you want De La Rosa for the bulk of it. Here's the 1-2, and bye-bye Matt Kemp. First strikeout of the evening for Jeff Francis. His 10th of the season.
He just went slower and slower. From the Hyundai cam, the rotation on this 71-mile-an-hour curveball gets off to the side a little bit. Just perfect location. Right into Miguel Olivo's glove, and the swing by Matt Kemp just over the top.
And he keeps pounding the strike zone, hitting the edges. Casey Blake takes strike one. Blake in his career is 1 for 12. Against Jeff Francis. And a hard shot. Nice pick there at third by Ian Stewart. Out at first. That is the third chance for Stewart. And all three have been somewhat challenging. That the most challenging of the trio.
Well, the good thing for Ian Stewart is the way he starts off, because he gets so low that when he dives, he still has the ability then to get up and make that strong throw. That helps him. But just the hand-eye coordination, to be able to slide and see that ball into your glove. I mean, he just made some plays over there lately that you just kind of shake your head and just have to say, wow.
The Rockies now on a more consistent basis are playing the kind of defense that they expect of themselves.
Well, right now, we saw it the other day. They're 5th in the league now in fielding percentage. They're really starting to climb that chart back up there. Ian Stewart had some errors early on. Cleaning those up now, and that makes that man, Jim Tracy, very happy.
Ball and 2 strikes on Belliard. Rockies up 2-0. Poked to Stewart. Sits up and sits set down by Jeff Francis. 2-0 Colorado. Barnes will lead it off. tonight, tomorrow night, Sunday afternoon. Then it's off to San Francisco, and that ball game on FSN on Monday will be an afternoon affair on Memorial Day. Thursday will be an off day, and then 3 in Phoenix against the Diamondbacks. Quick strike on Clint Barmas. Barmas 1 for 3, scored a run yesterday. Rockies hit .280 as a club in the Arizona series and out-homered the Diamondbacks 9-1. This is in the air to left field. Manny Ramirez makes the catch. That's about the extent of Manny's range at this juncture of his career.
2 steps to his left, 2 steps to his right.
Pretty much. Let's take a look at our Geico quote of the day. It's a great one from Don Mattingly. There's Don, one of the hitting coaches with Jeff Pentland for the Dodgers, rumored potentially to be the successor to Joe Torre. Honestly, at one time I thought Babe Ruth was a cartoon character. I mean, I wasn't born until 1961, and I grew up in Indiana. Well, Clint Barmas grew up in Indiana. He knew that Babe Ruth wasn't a cartoon character.
It was a treat to play against Don Mattingly.
What a great hitter.
There's a lot. To watch Mattingly, Boggs, those type of guys from an opposing dugout, you just sit there and really in awe of how gifted they were.
Joe Torre's the skipper. Bob Schaefer, the bench coach, handles the outfielders as well. Rick Honeycutt, pitching coach. Larry Boas at third. Mariano Duncan at first. Ken Howell is the bullpen coach. Jeff Francis is gone. 2 outs. So Carlos Gonzalez will step up. He singled and scored last inning. This replay brought to you by the Colorado Lottery. Yesterday, late in the ball game against Dan Herron, after Smith had hit a 2-run home run, they go back-to-back in an opposite fashion. It's the 3rd time those two have gone back-to-back this year. Usually it was Gonzalez first. Curveball for a strike. From now until June 30th, replay any of your non-winning scratch tickets and a second chance drawing. Enter those tickets at coloradolottery.com. Cargo had a few days off. He was slumping, and some of that had to do with a sore wrist, to be honest with you, and that's not an excuse that number 5's making. We're telling you you can tell it was bothering him. The wrist is healthier, and all of a sudden he's 5 for his last 9 at the plate.
And it just goes hand in hand, really. I mean, because if you can't go up there swinging with full confidence, you're just going to feel for the baseball. And that's kind of what it looked like with Carlos. He was just trying to hope that he hit the ball, but it wouldn't hurt his wrist in the process.
I'm sure you've been there at one point in your career. That can't be fun.
It's not, because you start to do other things with your body, use more of your legs, and don't trust your hands, and they start to drift, and you work under. It's just a snowball effect.
And this is going to drop in right center field. Another base hit for Carlos Gonzalez. And you got to really like those hits if you're Cargo or if you're Don Baylor, the hitting instructor. Behind in the count 1-2.
Yeah, even with the high fastball, still able to get on top of it and drop it into center field.
Seth Smith coming up with 2 outs. Text your answers on our Breaks Plus poll of the game, the 95323. Which is the bigger Colorado rivalry? The Rockies and Diamondbacks, who they share a spring training facility with beginning next year, or the Dodgers, who they always seem to be chasing? Rocks 1 for the Diamondbacks. I hate the Snakes. Rocks 2 for the Dodgers. They give me the blues. Breaks Plus celebrating 20 years, rolling back prices during the month of May. Get $49 semi-metallic brakes or $69 lifetime brakes. Great deal at Breaks Plus. Cargo checked out again.
It's a good time to run if you're Carlos Gonzalez and the Rockies. 2 outs. Well, you have Seth Smith at the plate. That's why they've thrown over there a couple different times. See how quick he is delivering the ball.
Pretty good, huh?
Yeah, 1.18 seconds. And anything under 1.30 seconds, it's very fast, and you really can't steal on him. This gives a good look at what Carlos is going through as a base stealer. Monasterios having to keep his eye on him over at first.
1-1.
Most of the time, guys that are relievers, and Monasterio has been throughout most of his career, a couple spot starts here and there, they're usually very adept at holding runners because they come in the ball game a lot of times in situations where there's runners on base.
Started to go and then stopped in his tracks. It's 1-2, which is a great count to go on, particularly with 2 outs.
And a guy like Monasterio who likes to throw the changeup.
Yeah. The Rockies have outscored their opponents in the first 4 innings of games this year by 52 runs. And interesting, the Dodgers, who are 5 games over 500, have not been a good team early in ball games. In the first and second inning, they've been outscored by 18 runs now, including the 2 the Rockies put on the board in the first. And this is a chased foul by Smith. And again, Gonzalez started to go and then shut it down. Not comfortable with the jump he got.
That's wise too, because if you don't get a good jump, don't run yourself out of an inning. It just doesn't make sense. If you get a good jump, feel like everything's in place, and go ahead and keep going.
There he goes, and the throw by Martin is high, and the hand gets to the bag first. And Cargo has his 7th stolen base.
Monasterio is 1.28 to the plate, but Russell Martin took a long time to get rid of the baseball. 2.12 seconds. That adds up to the 7th steal, as you mentioned, Drew, underneath the tag of Rafael Furcal. Lundecamp really slows it down, and the pressure, watch that wrist as it goes into the bag and has to slow him down. His left wrist, that's why he wears that guard on it.
RBI opportunity for Seth Smith. 2-2 the count. And it's a fly ball to shallow center field. Kemp's got it, and the Rockies lead Gonzalez in scoring position. We go to the third, 2-0 Colorado. Reed Johnson out of the 7-hole against Jeff Francis, and a big curveball over the plate. Reed Johnson getting a lot of action. 4th outfielder for the Dodgers, but Andre Ethier has been on the disabled list the last couple of weeks with a broken pinky. He's rehabbing with Albuquerque as we speak, and he will be, barring a setback, back in action Monday for the Dodgers.
And the Isotopes are in Memphis, Tennessee, playing this weekend. Andre Ethier. It's kind of surprising. We talked about it in the Open that they're 10-4 without Ethier, because last time the Rockies faced him, he hit .500 against them.
Tough chance, no chance. That ball was spinning, and Reed Johnson runs well. Stewart that time had to field it with his bare hand, and it's one of those do or die deals.
Well, yeah, he was going to come in with the glove, and then with that spin and the kind of a cue ball motion, he has to readjust and try to just barehand it. Rule of thumb usually is when the ball's bouncing, you'll use your glove, but that's the only option that Ian Stewart had, and it just came up, caught right off the thumb and forefinger, wasn't able to hang on to it.
Always a tough out, and the Rockies know it. Jamie Carroll, he's played probably more than he figured he would when he signed on with the Dodgers. Here's a strike on Jamie, and that McCall went down. He's played a ton of shortstop. Now he's back at his more natural position, though in college he was a shortstop, but for most of his big league career he's been a second baseman.
He has, but we saw him out in LA 3 weeks ago. Whenever the Rockies were out there, he played shortstop the whole time. But he's at that age now where I think he feels comfortable at either spot. There's not one that's more comfortable than the other, just from so many reps that he's had at the big league level.
Well, you went through this because you'd flip-flop on occasion back to the right side from the left side. You were a shortstop, your entire career coming into pro ball.
I felt like when I went back to second base, it was kind of like a day off. I don't mean that literally, but it just the throw's much shorter. You thought about less things because the shortstop's in charge of everything.
He hits behind the baseball, stays behind the baseball so well. He's a quality hitter.
Well, part of it, the reason, because he chokes up too. He has a little bit more bat control. He's not trying to hit the ball over the wall. He's trying to just hit it alley to alley.
2-1 on Carroll. Repair that chip in your windshield. Call Safelite, Elite Auto Glass, 303-287-5000, online at safelite.com. Jamie played in 25 consecutive ball games while Furcal was down with the hamstring. And this is one of those swinging bunts that goes foul. I've seen 2 of those now in this inning. Fortunately, that one is foul, because that would have been another tough chance for Stewart.
He wouldn't have been able to do it. Join us May 30th for Quest Military Appreciation Day. Arrive early for the pregame celebration. Really where you have to, if you're Troy, just look at the signs and do coverage based on where the pitch is going to be.
What do you mean by that?
I mean by if Jeff Francis is going to go a fastball away, well, then the shortstop might be the cover guy, because the fastball away to Jamie Carroll is going to hit the ball to right field. So the second baseman doesn't want to vacate his position. If it's a changeup, then it'll be the other way where Clint would cover if they decided to steal.
So you're basing on where the catcher moves to?
Yep, and what the pitch is too. Now 3-2, Jamie Carroll.
Probably start Reed Johnson here,
definitely.
don't you?
And if you Reed Johnson, you have to wait until Jeff Francis delivers the ball to home.
Was this when you were in the dugout and you were adept at picking off signs? Is that when you're really concentrating on the third base coach?
Definitely, because they can start to go through a few more signs. I wouldn't be surprised if they threw over right now.
Johnson, a conservative lead. He's not going, and it's fouled off. That's interesting, because you have a guy that gets the ball in play, so your chances of a swing and miss, strike him out, throw him out, a little less with Carroll at the plate. But Francis induces a lot of ground balls. So, listen, Joe Torre's forgotten more baseball than I'll ever know. But why not start him?
I think Reed Johnson was just fooled. I just think he said, oh, I don't know what to do.
He's not going again, and this is lined at foul down the line.
And maybe they're thinking is he's not getting a good read at all, so I'm not going to try to attempt to put him in motion, because if something happens, Jamie Carroll strikes out, Reed Johnson's going to be a dead duck out at second base.
He's got no shot.
No.
I mean, he used to have, what, a 15-foot lead, you
Yep.
said? He's got, what, an 8-foot lead.
Well, just about a body's length, that's it.
And Reed runs pretty well. Still not going, and this is a double play ball. 6-3 on the turn, and you know what? In fairness, it would not have mattered, because that was hitting one of those areas, even with the runner going, it's still going to be 2.
Well, Reed Johnson, this is the look that he's getting at first base. He kind of just really freezes. Jeff Francis got him good because of his motion. He could never pick up what he wanted to do. But that was the 54th double play, which leads the National League.
Leads the National League. In there to Monasterios. First strike, 1-1 on Carlos. You know, for a young kid, he's been in several organizations already, including the Mets and the Yankees. Monasterios, until this year, had exactly 2 ball games above A ball. And here he is in the big leagues. And Mariano Duncan saying, whoa. That ball was hunting him.
Monasterios played in the Dominican League, then went to the Gulf Coast League with both the Yankees and Phillies. A year in Lakewood, a year in Clearwater. All of those in the Florida State League.
He's taking decent hacks. It remains 2-2. The Dodgers, and this is so typical of the Dodgers the last couple of years, winning divisions. Inside the National League West, they have been outstanding. They are 13-4. Now it's 3-2. The Rockies are now 10-8 after taking 3 from Arizona.
And San Diego's 14-11.
Hop, Helton handles it naturally, and it turns into a 1-2-3 inning. So Francis has faced the minimum through 3 innings. Got a double play ball. May 28th, 1951, after starting his career 0 for 12, Willie Mays gets his first hit, a 450-foot home run off future Hall of Famer Warren Spahn. It's the first of 18 home runs he'll hit off of Spahn, the most he hit off of any pitcher. Go ahead, they sent him back out where I think he was hitting 476 when he was called up. Imagine if they sent him back out, we never saw 24 again. Would have missed out on 660 home runs, and arguably the greatest all-around player in the history of the game, Willie Mays, the Say Hey Kid. Bottom of 3, Todd Helton with his second look at Monasterios. Fly ball to center field his first time up. Kemp is shaved a little bit toward left center, and the fastball is in there for a strike. Helton over his last 10 ball games hitting .353. He also has 8 walks, so his on-base percentage is .476. And this is a ground ball to second.
Monasterios has kind of figured out how to pitch here all of a sudden. You know, the last couple innings, he's settled down a little bit, started to sink that fastball a little bit more than we saw him in the first inning.
Listen, if Joe Torre, from his perspective, gets 5 innings out of Monasterios, and the Dodgers are within, shouting distance of the Rockies, he's going to be pleased with the performance. Outside on Tulowitzki. Let's take a look at the Amica hit zone on Troy Tulowitzki. As you glance at it, we'll tell you that for each Colorado hit from now through the end of the year, Amica Insurance will donate $10 to the Boys and Girls Club of Denver. Thank you, Amica. And a comeback. The other thing, for a guy that's not completely stretched out, that will enable him to stick around, is he's had really a couple of quick innings. He's only got 37 pitches with 2 outs in the third.
Well, that's kind of surprising, because the game plan going into it, usually when you're facing a guy that's making a spot start or the first start since May 1st, is you want to be a little bit more patient to see if he's able to hit his spots, see if he falls behind a little bit more. That's not what some of the Rockies hitters have done tonight.
One and one. I was talking to Brad earlier. He always described how even keel his personality is, how easygoing he is, which I always look upon Brad as having the perfect demeanor to be an everyday player and deal with the roller coaster ride that exists for a big league player. You're going to have, great highs when you're as gifted as number 11, but you're also going to have your periods where, you have your 1 for 15s, struggling to make contact, that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's the whole key, is to be able to stay more even keel and not be on a roller coaster like what you'd write at Elitch's.
It's a rollover ground ball. Good inning from Monasterios. The Rockies lead 2-0 as we go to the 4th on a Friday night at Coors Field. Ronnie Belliard error scored a run, and then Miguel Olivo, a 2-out, 2-strike hit to bring home Seth Smith, who was aboard on that Belliard error. 2-0 Colorado, our Land Rover game recap. Jeff Francis has been terrific. First time through the order. He allowed just a slow roller for a single by Reed Johnson. Rafael Furcala grounded second, steps up, and the fastball misses away, ball 1.
And the one thing Jeff was able to do the first time through is throw first pitch strikes. That allowed him to get to that off-speed pitch.
And this is a Baltimore chop to Stewart. 2 pitches and an out. That is the 4th chance of the ball game for Ian Stewart. That'll bring up Russell Martin.
Well, that's what we're talking about. The first time through, 7 to 9 first pitch strikes, the 1 base hit to Reed Johnson, 7 ground outs, 1 lazy fly ball, and a strikeout. And when Jeff's going good like he is tonight, that's what he'll get. He won't get a ton of strikeouts. It's not going to be a high strikeout guy where he get 8 or 10. But if he's getting a lot of ground balls, keeping the ball down, using the changeup, sinking the fastball, that's what he wants to do.
That just missed. 1-1 on Martin. This probably will come as no surprise to you, anybody who follows the National League. Russell Martin, since 2007, has 415 starts. He's caught almost 3,700 innings behind the plate. That's the most of any catcher in baseball. This is in the air to pretty deep right field, and Pop is there. And we should note, with the heat today, it's the warmest day of the year so far. And during batting practice, you had a better chance of shagging if you were a Rocky extra in the outfield if you hung out in one of the bullpens or in the stands. I mean, the ball was flying.
You wanted to take a bat, didn't you?
I did. I stand at second base.
Well, it doesn't matter. I mean, that's how far the ball was going today. That it kept going out, and guys were having a little fun with it during batting practice, trying to one-up each other. Could they hit it even further?
Want to know on Ramirez. Ground ball to third. Stewart. And a 1-2-3 inning again for Jeff Francis. 2-0 Colorado, middle of 4. brought to you by Fast Cash Gold Centers, where you'll always get 40% more for your gold. Let's check in one more time with Alana Rizzo.
All right, guys, thanks very much. You know, if you ask any of the Dodgers about why they've been performing so well over the last couple of weeks, they really just say it's been their pitching staff. And I talked to their pitching coach, Rick Honeycutt, about what he's noticed in terms of the improvement of his rotation as a whole. He said, you know, we knew exactly what we were going to get from Chad Billingsley and Clayton Kershaw. And Clayton Kershaw's confidence has improved dramatically since that May 9th win against the Colorado Rockies. Ubaldo Jimenez has only lost so far this season. He said Chad Billingsley has just become more consistent. Hiroki Kuroda has been solid pretty much every outing, and they got a big lift from the kid in John Eli. He said he's a nice lift to be in our rotation as the fourth man, and they've kind of had some spot starts as they're doing tonight with Carlos Monasterio. He said overall, as a staff, they're just being a lot more consistent, and as Jeff Houston was saying earlier today, Rick Honeycutt has also been very patient with these guys too, and it's starting to pay off for their rotation. Drew and Jeff?
All right, Alana, thank you very much. And Kershaw will go on Sunday. They've been better in the month of May. That's on the hill. They've averaged a run less per game in terms of ERA. And no surprise, they've won a lot more. That's a gapper. Run to the wall, and it will. Now Olivo is probably thinking three here. He's turning it on. Miguel Olivo to third with a triple. Second of the year.
Right out of the box, he was going for three. There was no doubt. The only doubt would Matt Kemp be able to cut it off and keep him from going there. That average now at Coors Field just climbing even higher. Tried to go away from him, went back over center cut, and drove it that way. Just watch him. Matt Kemp try to get it. All he can do is go chase it down at the wall. Olivo cuts the bag. At second. Gets in the third easily.
Infield halfway. Stewart takes a strike on the inside corner. Leadoff three-bagger for maybe the fastest catcher in baseball, Miguel Olivo. What an addition he has been. Good foul. Who wants tacos, fans? Remember, if the Rockies score 7 or more runs during any game, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day between 4 and 6 and get your Rockies Tacos special. Feed your Rockies fever only at Taco Bell.
With the infield halfway depth right now, unless it's a chopper or something, I would be surprised if Miguel tried to take off. It doesn't get through the infield.
One and two on Stewart.
Calls way up the middle for Stewart.
This is in the air to shallow right. Reed Johnson. I don't know if this is deep enough.
I think so.
Well, Olivo's coming, and he's going to score easily.
I think a lot had to do with that air we were talking about earlier, the way the ball was going, because when that was first hit, I didn't think it had the opportunity. But then Stewie just had enough strength behind that to be able to hit it to Reed Johnson. You saw Reed Johnson kind of take a couple steps back, and so his momentum wasn't going towards home.
3-0 Colorado. Clint Barmas with one out. Barmas hit a fly ball to left his first time. Rockies are 14-7 at Coors Field. In the month of May, they're 14-10 after an 11-12 April. This ball is well hit left center field. Kemp on the run, and it is gone. Clint Barmas can slow down.
Matt Kemp's trying to say that the fan reached over the fence.
And you know what? Dan Iasanya is not buying it. Home run number 4 for Barnes, and it's 4-0 Colorado. That was hit a long way.
Well, they tried to come inside with the fastball, but they wanted to try to get it elevated. They didn't do that. It was about belt high, and he hit it out in the gap in the left center field. Dan's trying to say, I didn't see the fan reach over the fence like what Matt Kemp's trying to say he did. Boy, that'd be real close to call there. And Matt Kemp right away, though, was pointing at the guy saying he reached over.
They're going to go look at it. You know that? They're going to go look at it. I don't think from that angle, I don't think you can reverse it.
And that, to me, is the best angle that you have to look at that.
Where he catches it, and the momentum took him down to the yellow line. It's very, very close, as you described. Now I'm starting to think in football terms, is the evidence irrefutable? Because again, the call on the field was home run. Well, we haven't had one of these this year.
We had one last year. A home run. I just
remember, Huey, I think it was about 3 years ago. It was the darndest thing because the Rockies, was before instant replay was used to determine home runs when they were close. The Rockies lost 4 that year.
Yeah, it was 07.
It was 07.
It was 07. They lost one in St. Louis, I believe.
They lost one in Philly with the garden, with the flowers out there.
Right. Maybe another one in Cleveland too, it seems like. But yeah, there was a lot of them there that they lost that year.
Well, Tom Helmer did a piece on this not all that long ago. It's not like these guys have had to run down, a hallway that's 150 yards long. The video station, if you will, is not that far under the tunnel. So once they, look at every angle, check it out, they'll emerge.
But I'm with you, Drew. Originally it was called a home run. From those angles that we had, it just didn't look like, okay, he really reached over far. Was it the momentum of the glove once he caught it that caused his hand to kind of go over the yellow line? I was just kind of going by the reaction of Matt Kemp, because he immediately signaled that it was not a home run.
Well, he's doing the right thing. He's got to try to sell the umpire on, on the fan interfering in the field of play. Let's look again.
And let's not forget on this, too, that once they come back out and rule, Jim Tracy can't go out and argue. If they decided to change their mind and only make it a double, Jim Tracy, there's nothing he can do.
Well, the umpire's coming back out.
And the crew chief here is Dale Scott.
It's a home run. The home run will stand. So Barmes, with his 4th jack of the year, makes it 4-0. Matt Kemp's not pleased.
Clint really didn't even get to enjoy that. Couldn't have to sit and wait for about 3 or 4 minutes to figure out if he could celebrate, or had to run back out to second.
Here's Jeff Francis looking for his first knock of the year. He takes a strike. The last 2 innings, Monasterios did a really good job controlling the Rockies' bats. But Miguel Olivo, a leadoff triple. Stewart, a sac fly, and then the home run a moment ago by Barmes. And it's 4-0. 5 hits for the Rockies, just 1 for LA. 2-1 the count.
It's been the bottom part of the lineup tonight. It's really done it.
And that's low. That was a borderline pitch that Monasterio's naturally wanted. It's 3-1.
Well, so did Russell Martin. 4th strike zone, and this is why they're thinking it was a strike, and both of them kind of looked at it and shrugged their shoulders because it was at the bottom of the zone.
This is chopped over the mound, and the power will still get Jeff by a step.
The Coors Field Suites, party facilities, and picnic areas fit any event and any budget.
Carlos Gonzalez is 2 for 2 in the ball game. He's got a dirty uniform because he's had to slide a couple times. Stolen base. Had to slide into home on a wild pitch that he scored on. He gets a curveball that misses. Ball 1. The average at 321 for Cargo. And that's in there for a strike.
He's kind of taken to this leadoff spot now.
You know what? He's just so good. It doesn't
matter where it is.
But
some guys change their mindset because they're in different spots in the order.
It hasn't seemed to bother him at all. I mean, when Jim Tracy put him in an RBI slot, whether it was 3rd or 5th, he was driving in runs at a record pace. Goes back to the 1 hole, and he does his job there. There's the 1-2. And a ground ball toward the hole. That's a good play by Jamie Carroll. In the inning, the Rockies get a couple more runs. Olivo in the middle of it, and also Clint Barnes with his 4th home run of the year. Network, AT&T, a better 3G experience. By Brakes Plus, a whole lot more. And by Dex One, marketing solutions, business results. Beautiful, very warm night in lower downtown Denver. Gorgeous Rocky Mountains off in the distance, and the Rockies lead the Dodgers 40-0. That's a beautiful thing as well. Slider to Matt Kemp in an unhittable place, and it's 0-1 with Jeff Hewson and Alana Rizzo. I'm Drew Goodman. Happy you're with us tonight for the beginning of this weekend set with LA. 1-1. Francis through 4 innings has allowed 1 base runner. Reed Johnson, a slow roller to third that Ian Stewart really had no play on it. Infield hit. That's it. And then he was erased on a double play ground ball by Jamie Carroll.
54 pitches that Jeff's thrown, only 19 balls, 35 strikes.
This ball's hit well to center field. Gonzalez going back, still going back. Matt Kemp with his 10th of the year. And the Dodgers are on the board. It's the first home run allowed all year by Jeff Francis, and it ends a run of 16 1/3 scoreless innings by Francis.
It just shows you how strong Matt Kemp is. Everything was down in the zone, and then he finally leaves a pitch up and away from Matt Kemp, allows him to get those arms extended and hit it over the wall in center field. Carlos Sadi had an opportunity to get that at first. The ball just kept going. Hyundai cam to Matt Kemp. Full extension right off the sweet spot of the bat. Drove through it.
Off-speed pitch on the corner. It's 1-1 on Casey Blake.
Maybe still had a little anger from that home run of Clint Barmas's that he thought was not a home run from last half inning.
That's fouled off. 1-2.
Did you see Casey Blake yesterday kind of argue with the umpires in Chicago
about Ted Lilly?
Ted Lilly didn't have his foot on the rubber.
Well, you know, it's an old trick, Jeff. I don't know if you ever felt like a pitcher did that, but it's really hard to see, you know, those major league mounds. The dirt is so, you know, packed down. This ball rifle foul. That, you know, if they kind of rock and step forward, you could steal a couple inches.
At least. I mean, that's what Casey Blake was mad about. Larry Boa, same thing, their third base coach. He was the one that was really noticing it. And then Casey Blake, when he got to first, tried to tell John Hirschbeck, listen, he's not on the rubber when he lets go of the baseball.
And the way they do it is watch Jeff Francis with his left foot. You step back with his right, and then as he replants his left foot sideways, parallel to the rubber, if he steps up, as Blake is a strikeout victim, if he steps up, you know, a couple of inches, it's almost imperceptible. And who's looking? Is the other?
Very few guys are going to be looking.
Yeah, I mean.
So to me, if it's brought up that way, if Larry Boa brings up Casey Blake, who's probably one of the nicest guys in the game, he brings it up, then it must have been pretty glaring.
Second strikeout for Francis. Ronnie Belliard hit a line drive to third, his first time up. 1-1 count. Big swing and a miss. Belliard first reached the big leagues with Milwaukee in '98. Played a long time with the Brewers, and then in '03 with the Rockies, he had 277. 8 home runs. He drove in 50. And another line drive, softly hit. At Stewart, 2 outs. Then on to Cleveland. Washington in '07, where he hit 290. In '08, he had 287 with Washington. Last year in 77 at bats with the Dodgers after being acquired from the Nationals, he hit 351. He's a lifetime 275 hitter in the big leagues. So, you know, every time we see Ronnie Belliard, you just have to remind people this guy can hit. He can
flat out rake, and that's why he's a valuable member of a lot of different ball clubs.
Reed Johnson hits it in the air to shallow right. Hop. He's right there. So a leadoff home run by Matt Kemp, and then Francis gets the next 3. 4-1, middle of 5. Number 5. Let's take a look at our AT&T trivia question on a Friday night. Great crowd tonight. Kirk Gibson won the MVP in 1988. He had just 25 home runs. Since that year, 2 players have won the National League MVP with fewer home runs. Who are they? Gibson edged out Darryl Strawberry for this ball's in the air to left field for the MVP that year. Ramirez going back, and Manny makes the catch. Strawberry hit 39 home runs, drove in 101. Gibson won the MVP. He hit 290. Strawberry hit 269. He drove in only 76 to Strawberry's 101. Kind of a real light year in terms of offensive numbers for a guy to be MVP.
Especially to have that few of RBIs compared to the other guy.
Helton watches that one all the way to the catcher's glove, tracked it. Todd's 0 for 2, fly ball center field, ground ball to second. Helton sees more pitches per at bat than any player in the National League. With that sleeve on his right arm.
A few other guys are wearing that today. Ian Stewart has one on his arm.
That's not his throwing arm if you haven't figured it out yet.
The next pitch would be number 62 for Monasterios. He's due up second next inning. Down by 3 runs. Joe Torre might have to think about this is going to be it for him.
Good eye. Guy he'd probably go to is the guy who was just brought up, Justin Miller.
The only guy they just had to activate. They designated Ramon Ortiz for assignment, and his release kind of cleared the way for a few of these guys, especially Monasterios, to make the start today.
And this is on the ground to Jamie Carroll. 2 outs.
Number 2,
It's our Radio Shack. What do you know? Troy Tulowitzki has hit safely in his last 11 ball games, the longest current hitting streak in the National League, one shy of his career high.
He also
first strike.
Also has 5 home runs in 7 of those games, after having just 1 home run in the first 38 ball games.
One ball, 1 strike on Tulowitzki. He's being a little more patient, Huey, this at bat.
Yeah, a little anxious, I thought, the first couple. Swinging to that first pitch slider, his first at bat.
And that's broken bat short hop to third. So Monasterios works a 1-2-3 5th inning. We'll go to the 6th. This ball game rolling along. Rockies plus
LanAtCol.com, ColoradoRockies.com for the All-Star Game, or you can do it here at Coors Field. Find any one of these ballot boxes around the stadium, punch the ticket of who you want to see. You don't even have to fill out the American League side. I've already picked my National League guys that I want to go. Very simple. Stick it in the ballot box and send your Rockies to California.
All right, Alana, thank you. 1-1 is the count on Jamie Carroll in the 6th inning. And Garrett Anderson knows a thing or two about Anaheim.
Still living in the same house. All he had to do was just change which way he went coming out of the driveway.
Takes him a little longer, though, I think, to get to
about 45 minutes.
Your old teammate.
Montron Coso, probably one of the most trusted guys in Joe Torre in his pen.
Two and two on Carroll, who hit a ground ball up the middle that Tulowitzki grabbed, stepped on second for 1, and on to first to double up Carroll. It's a 71st pitch for Jeff Francis. Been economical. He's been outstanding. The only blemish, a Matt Kemp leadoff home run last inning. And that's the first walk he's allowed. He's allowed only 3 base runs.
Well, now we will see Garrett Anderson as a pinch hitter this year on the season. 4 for 26, 1 home run, 3 RBIs.
You may be saying, hey, why is Joe Torre sending up a lefty against Francis? His only option on the right side, other than A.J. Ellis, the backup catcher, is
Nick Green.
Well, Green got sent out.
Excuse me. Yeah,
Xavier
you're right.
Paul.
Xavier Paul.
Right. So he wants to play the Garrett Anderson card here.
Because he wants to save James Loney if he has the opportunity for later on in the ball game.
He's also got Blake DeWitt if necessary. Garrett Anderson, forever an Angel until last year. He was signed by Atlanta. Hung out with Chipper Jones. Forged a close relationship with Chipper and wanted to desperately get back to the West Coast, close to his family. And so that was an easy decision to make when the Dodgers came to call him. See what his first move was, Jeff?
Out.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did that right hip, everything about the right side instead of staying closed. It started to bail on him, and there was no way he could touch that ball away from him, even if he wanted to try to swing at it.
See if Jeff picks here. 2-1.
The Dodgers really haven't shown much ability as far as being able to read Jeff Francis tonight. Reed Johnson wasn't getting a good look at him. Now you're down by 3 runs in the 6th inning. I'd be surprised if Jamie Carroll even tried to take off.
This ball's well hit to center field. Gonzalez is not going to get there, and the Rockies catch a break. It's a ground rule double. So Carroll, who would have easily scored, stops at third. And now the Dodgers are going to get the tying run to the plate here with nobody out in the 6th inning. Garrett Anderson left on left. Hits it over 400 feet, and it bounced out of the stadium. Time to go outside the box with Jack in the box. Jeff Francis has had the Dodgers number in his career. He's 5-3 with a .273 earned run average, which is the 3rd best active ERA against LA of pitchers that have thrown at least 80 innings against Los Angeles. Jake Peavy, the former Padre, Ryan Dempster, Trevor Hoffman. That's how long Trevor's been around. It's more than 80 innings, all basically 9th innings. That's outside the box. Brought to you by Jack in the Box.
A short visit from Bob Apodaca. But for calls, grounded out to second, grounded out to third. He's looking to hit something to the right side. He'd also push bunt one to the right side if he really wanted to.
I don't know about that swing. That looked like a swing without a game plan.
Yeah, I was a little shocked from Furcal because he's a guy that knows how to play the game. The only thing is, from the right side this year, he's hitting below 175.
0-2. And now Jeff can, hunt that strikeout.
He's got a couple options. He can go inside with that cut fastball or the disappearing slider underneath the hands of Furcal. Even if he were able to hit it, roll it over, the run doesn't score and the guy doesn't advance.
And the 0-2 is hitting the air to center field. That's plenty deep to get Jamie Carroll home. Also tagging Garrett Anderson. And Anderson's going to move up. Ball gets away for a moment. Tulowitzki scrambling after it with Stewart. It's now 4-2. As Furcal has his 8th RBI of the year.
That was another ball that just kept going a little bit deeper than what I thought it was off the bat.
Remember what we were talking about earlier with the heat today. The ball's flying.
Well, the Rockies are going to play it infield back with the 2-run lead.
Russell Martin, pretty good contact guy. Very difficult guy to strike out. Here's the thing. I mean, if Martin hits the ball in one of the corners, Garrett Anderson does not run well.
No, not at all. Russell Martin against lefties this year hitting just .205.
It's an 0-2 count on Martin. Swung ribby against left-handed pitcher.
Change up.
Yeah, he gets a lot of swings and misses with that. Curveball. Ground ball down the left field line. That makes it a 4-3 game. The tying run's going to be in scoring position for Martin. So the Dodgers have rallied for 2 here. And you have Manny Ramirez coming up.
Well, after the curveball, he did go to the changeup. Not a bad pitch, down and in. Just caught a little bit too much of the plate. Ian Stewart, a heck of an effort to try to get that ball down the line. The top spin, the hard ground in front of home plate tonight, just got by him.
There's Matt Daly throwing. Ramirez has twice hit the ball on the ground to third. 1 out. Martin at second in a 4-3 ball game all of a sudden.
Well, it all started with the leadoff walk this inning to the 8th hitter, Jamie Carroll. After you had him at 2-2. They're going to pick him. Russell Martin was out dancing off of second base, and Troy just kept moving just a little bit closer. Went to the flash on it. Jeff Francis turning through. Pitch count for Mr. Francis tonight, 20 in the 3rd inning, but he also had the big double play off the bat of Jamie Carroll to help him get out of that. Besides, very economical evening.
this ball is hit well to right center field. Ramirez has hit one out for the first time in his career at Coors Field, and he's given LA a 5-4 lead. Boy, the complexion of this game has turned in a hurry. He had never homered here. And in his 44th at bat, he now has his first home run since April the 18th.
Forward strike zone, wanted the ball down and in, just completely missed his location. Manny Ramirez just drove it to right center field. As soon as he hit it, he knew it was gone. Monday Cam, give it a good look of the extension from Manny Ramirez, and Jim Tracy has to now go get Jeff Francis.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, you described it accurately. All of a sudden, those pitches came up about 6-8 inches, and it's a big difference when it's the bottom of the knee versus mid-thigh. So Jeff Francis departs. He gives up 4 runs in this 6th inning. From that night in Atlanta, that really the bat should be broken.
It should be. It should just be in half instead of, they got a nice solid bat here, about 40-ounce bat.
Yeah, he broke a lot of bats that night. Well, the Rockies were up 4-0. Then it was 4-1 after the Kemp home run, and Jeff Francis got the ball up. Manny Ramirez burns it for a 2-run home run. Now the Rockies are trailing 5-4 as they turn to Matt Daly to get out of the 6th inning. Tonight's call to the bullpen is brought to you by Comcast Digital Home Phone Service. Warm up to unlimited local and long distance. Call 1-800-COMCAST.
Matt Daly, numbers on the season, 21st appearance. Came into yesterday's ball game in the 6th inning and got a strikeout of Dan Herron with the bases loaded. That was the only batter he faced yesterday.
He's facing Matt Kemp here, and he has strike 1.
Well, it's just too bad for Jeff Francis, too, because you felt like 4-0. Okay, 4-1 with the home run by Matt Kemp back in the 5th inning, but then the leadoff walk just killed you, because all of a sudden you got Jamie Carroll over at first. They pinch hit for Montesterios, who you could have had the opportunity to kind of extend the lead against him early in the ball game. You didn't do it, got a couple runs, and then pitch just got elevated there.
And this, even without Andre Ethier, is a dangerous lineup. 1-2. And by the way, that home run by Manny Ramirez is 549th of his career. He was in a tie the last month with Michael Jack Schmidt for 14th place on the all-time list, and now he has it by himself. 2-2. Jim Tracy was asked before the ball game, what do you have to do to turned the tables on the Dodgers. They went 14-4 against the Rockies last year. Historically, they've had their way with the Rockies. They've won the season series 8 of the last 10 years. This has popped up. But Jim Tracy had the appropriate answer. We have to just keep doing what we're doing. Play good, solid baseball. It doesn't matter who the opponent is. If you pitch it well and field it well and swing the bats in a timely manner, you'll beat whoever the opponent is. Let's check in with Alana Rizzo again.
Drew, Matt Daly just got recalled yesterday after spending some time in Colorado Springs to get some rest. And I asked him about it. He said, at first when I was sent down there, I didn't want it. But after a couple of days off and I threw my first bullpen session, I immediately noticed the difference. The ball was coming out of my hand a lot better. It was exactly what I needed, guys.
Yeah, I mean, he had a ton of appearances in the first 6 weeks of this season. He was among the major league leaders in appearances. And sometimes because, Matt, like most competitive athletes, they're never going to turn the baseball down. They tell themselves they feel well, and the adrenaline flows, and they think they feel well. And maybe it's not the MPHs,
right.
What the gun says. Maybe it's just the command's off a tick.
It's kind of like going down onto the DL. But if you go on the DL, you have to wait at least 15 days. And nobody likes to get sent out. Heck, I was sent out a number of times. I didn't like it one bit, but you understand at times that it's the best thing for you and it's the best thing for the team. And when Matt came back yesterday, he just felt like, I feel like I'm myself again.
Rejuvenated. 1-2 on Casey Blake. And this is fought off and dumped into right field for a base hit for Blake. And I'll bring up Ronnie Belliard. While Belliard makes his way to the plate, we'll answer our AT&T trivia question. Kirk Gibson won the MVP back in 1988. He had only 25 home runs, drove in less than 80, in fact. Since then, 2 players have won the National League MVP with fewer home runs. And if you had Terry Pendleton in 91, Barry Larkin in 95, you'd be absolutely correct. Larkin had the luxury, that's a strike, of playing shortstop on a really good Reds team. And he had a big name, drove in a lot of runs. He was the leader, and he's playing in the middle of the diamond. Terry Pendleton hit well over 300 that year. I think he led the league in hitting, in fact.
Nice pick from Todd on the back pick from Miguel Olivo. Miguel's not afraid to throw the ball around. If he sees that guy getting off too far, Casey Blake.
You know what, with his arm, nor should he be.
No, exactly. It's part of his game.
And if you're advanced scouting the Rockies, you're going to say, hey, you're going to pass along. Make sure your base runners don't
stray too far.
Exactly.
Because then if they do, and the other thing it does is it causes them not to get quite as big a secondary lead. Now, if a ball's in the hole, they don't beat it to second base, or they're not able to go first to third.
You know what? That may have been a factor. Remember earlier in the ballgame, Reed Johnson, we figured he would be going on a 3-2 pitch with Jamie Carroll at the plate, and twice he wasn't. And keep in mind, in the last outing, Jeff Francis picked off 2 Kansas City Royal players.
Well, exactly, and that's where the advanced scout for the Dodgers was at that time. He was sitting right behind home plate. He was watching the Rockies because they knew that that's who they were going to play next. So they go and scout those guys, and then every day before a series, the Dodgers had their meeting today about 4 o'clock, kick all the media out, and they go over that sort of stuff.
3-2.
Little sidearm action, and the Hyundai Cam ball goes right over the bat of Belliard.
You know, with fastballs, typically when they're swung on and missed, the bat's underneath the
Always.
ball. With breaking balls, it's over the top.
Yep.
3-2 fouled off. Blake moving naturally with 2 outs. The Rockies next inning, all of a sudden trailing in the ball game, will have Hop, Olivo, and Stewart in the bottom of the 6th. Damage to your windshield? Give Safelite Elite Auto Glass a call at 303-287-5000, online at safelite.com. Daly thought he had to punch out. Miguel Olivo thought he had to punch out.
And Jerry Meals, the home plate umpire, is the only one that didn't think. But if he goes back and looks at the forward strike zone, he's going to say, you know what? I missed this one. But it's twice tonight now that Jerry Meals has not called that low strike, which is a little surprising because Jerry's not a tall guy. Usually the shorter guy will have a lower strike zone. And that was right at the knees. That's a strike 3. Should be going back to the dugout.
Well, considering they don't call strikes above the belt,
you have to have the one at the knees.
You got to have the one at the knees.
Yeah. But now it just prolongs that inning, puts another guy in scoring position.
Yeah, Reed Johnson up there, and the Dodgers with Johnson at the plate have officially hit around. Johnson's 1 for 2. He had an infield hit against Francis. That's a strike. You know, if you're Matt Daly, who hides the ball very well and is kind of sneaky quick, just like virtually every pitcher, you have to get that low strike. You start elevating, you get hurt.
Well, he elevated the ball to Casey Blake. That's why he hit the ball to right field for the base hit.
And this is yanked foul on a slider. It's 0-2.
And Matt's not overpowering either. It's not. He doesn't have a 95-mile-an-hour fastball with movement. He has to be pinpoint on his location. And if you don't get those calls, if you're Matt Daly, you can't change your game plan. You can't change your approach. You still have to work down into the zone.
Oh, 2 with 2 on. Reed Johnson. And that hit him, and now the bases are loaded for Jamie Carroll. Matt Kemp, when he popped out, there was 2 outs, nobody on. A Blake single. Belliard walks on a 3-2 pitch. And the 0-2 pitch on Reed Johnson gets him on the forearm.
Trying to come inside and just tailed in a little bit too much. Southwest Sky Cam. Miguel had set up inside. And they caught Reed Johnson right on that right wrist. Jamie Carroll started this whole mess off with the walk to lead off the inning.
And then Garrett Anderson, pinch hitting, doubled over the head of Carlos Gonzalez, who was a ground rule double. And a sac fly by Furcal on an 0-2 pitch.
Yep.
Ground ball double down the third base line by Martin, and then the Ramirez 2-run home run to right center. Now Olivo will go out. And this, for me, you know, yeah, you talk about Manny Ramirez, you talk about Matt Kemp, Casey Blake. You don't want any of those guys up. But, you know, for me, right near the top of that list that you don't want to see in this situation is Jamie Carroll. He will force you to throw a quality strike.
Yeah, 1 for 3 this season with the bases loaded.
Third base, Casey Blake. Belliard at second. Reed Johnson at first. 5-4 LA. We began the inning trailing 4-1. Daly inherited one of these situations yesterday, got an out, and then coming in behind him, Randy Flores got an out to keep Arizona at bay. At that point in time, it was a very close ball game. Rockies blew it open late to win 8-2.
I still go back to the pitch that Jerry Meals, the home plate umpire, missed, though, for that strike 3. I know it happens, okay, but he should be out of this inning. Now the problem is that the guys out in the field have been standing out there a long time. A lot of time in between pitches. You kind of get out of the flow of the game and playing defense.
And the throw to first. Almost got Reed Johnson. If I'm Reed and I get picked off in that situation, I'm going to avoid Joe Torre for a month.
Yeah, I just keep going outside. Back pick again from Todd Helton and Miguel Olivo. Reed Johnson able to slide back to that back side of the bag. Two and one.
on Carroll, hitting .276. Ground ball to short, and Tulowitzki did a good job because the runner Belliard did his best to obstruct the view of the ball. 4 runs in the inning, and the Dodgers have taken inside and look on videotape to make sure that fan didn't catch the ball beneath the yellow line. That was the Frost-brewed Coors Light freeze can. Well, the Rockies find themselves down 5-4 after leading 4-0 in this ball game. As we go to the bottom of the 6th inning, see Matt Belisle getting loose. The Dodgers have made 2 changes. James Loney, their everyday first baseman, who didn't get the start because he was 1 for 15 lifetime against Jeff Francis, is in there. In a double switch, Ramon Troncoso comes into the ball game as well.
Troncoso is usually a guy for Joe Torre that he'll save for later on in the ball game, but now with the lead in the 6th inning, he decided to go to him and not mess around. The numbers for Troncoso on the year, a little bit higher ERA than what we've seen from him in the past. He's usually a guy that's down into the 3s.
And Hop drives it foul. He's behind 0-2. But remember what we were saying about the hopes of Joe Torre, before the ball game, with Carlos Monasterio making just his 2nd career start. He's a kid, Rule 5 selection out of the Mets organization. And you're hoping that he can give you, in a perfect world, 5 innings and keep you in the game. Well, he did that. In fact, he's now on the plus side.
Yeah, what a strange game this is, because when he left the ball game for the pinch hitter Garrett Anderson, they were still trailing, but he was the pitcher of record. Troncoso, fastball, curveball. That's all he has. Curveball about 76 miles an hour. Fastball will sit in the neighborhood of 91 to 94.
And a weak ground ball to second. Cast your Scott's All-Star ballot at Lowe's and enter to win a VIP All-Star experience. Compliments of Scott's. One out. That'll bring up Miguel Olivo. Single and an RBI in the 1st and a triple and a run scored leading off the 4th inning. Big curveball for a strike. Here's Colorado replay, Colorado lottery replay of the triple by Miguel Oliva. Bullet to right center field, and Miguel flying around the bases. Play those non-winning scratch tickets again at ColoradoLottery.com. Casey Blake, 2 outs. Well, I know how Jim Tracy's looking at this ball game. He knows offensively, realistically, he's got 7 outs to work with now. 1 more here in the 6th. You have the 7th and 8th. Because if you're going to wait to try to get it off the big Georgia kid, most of the time you go home unhappy. Jonathan Broxton, one of the best closers in the game.
11 for 13 with saves this year for the Dodgers.
Stewart takes strike 1.
And then the other guy you're going to see too, once it gets back towards the top of the lineup with the 3 lefties in a row, you'll see Hung-Chi Kuo, their main left-hander, out of their pen. He's very difficult on left-handed batters.
0-2. Take a look at tonight's Quest high-speed pitch. Monasterios hit 92. Jeff Francis 91. It's brought to you by Quest, the high-speed internet provider of the Colorado Rockies.
Back to the break-in pitch.
2-2. Rockies have won 5 straight, 6 in a row at home. Hitting home runs in bunches. The Barmas home run tonight. They did a home run in 10 straight games. They hit 4 yesterday, 3 in succession.
What do you think?
First time they've done that since 04.
Man, looking at the 4-strike zone, they're just pitching Ian Stewart away. That was a mistake. That was up a little bit, but they don't want him to try to pull something. The curveball down and in where he can golf one out of here. Dodgers' thought process is if he's going to beat us, he's going to beat us trying to hit it the other way.
Stewart has 6 home runs this year. He had 25 last year. All 6 of his home runs have come out on the road, believe it or not.
Well, one of them against the Dodgers in Dodger Stadium.
And it's a strong inning for Ramon Troncoso. Rockies go in order in the 6th. We'll go to the fourth inning. The Rockies were up 3-0. Clint Varmas hits the home run. And even though the fan caught it, he caught it over the fence after videotape replay, the first of the year. Matt Kemp hit a solo home run in the 5th off the Jeff Francis. First home run he'd allowed all year. No problem, just 4-1. But in the 6th inning, some problems. And this is a big problem. 2-run home run for Manny Ramirez. First time he's ever hit a home run at Coors Field. And the 2-run shot gave the Dodgers a 5-4 lead. That's where we stand right now. Cooney Lexus, where luxury has an address. Melvin Mora in a double switch in the ballgame at third for Ian Stewart. He'll bat second next inning. And Matt Belisle on for the 22nd time. He has been very, very good.
And part of the reason for the double switch, too, is the opportunity to maybe go a couple innings with Matt Belisle. That's the flexibility that he gives you out of that bullpen. He's been a three-inning guy earlier in the year, slid up in a couple innings here. Also an 8th-inning guy.
James Loney's first at bat. He takes a strike. Crowd tonight, listen to this, 40,162 on a Friday night for the Rockies and Dodgers, and more than 9,000 folks bought tickets. I say we just walked up to the stadium, to the ticket window. It's the largest walk-up crowd in Rockies history. Largest one-day walk-up crowd in Rockies history. That's you know what, it would not surprise me if that record's broken on a couple of occasions as the summer rolls forward. Kids out of school, great baseball team in town. 2-2.
The official start of the summer season this weekend with Memorial Day weekend. You got 2 good ball clubs too.
Yeah, the 2 teams picked by most to win the division. And this is bounced to Tulowitzki, circles it, gets behind the throw, and gets Loney by a step.
He set up that throw the whole way with that bounce because he knew he couldn't come get it. He had to go back and really just plant on that right leg, and they get all the momentum once he caught the ball and just shifted. High chopper. Troy goes back into the hole, plants the right leg, shuffles the feet, strong throw, gets Loney by a step. Doesn't. I mean, that's just textbook right there from Troy. Everything he does defensively, very, very solid.
Rafael Furcal with 1 out. In fact, he is again leading shortstops in the National League in fielding percentage. And the amazing thing about Troy is his range factor. He's leading shortstops in chances also.
Well, the thing about Troy, too, in 400-plus games now at shortstop, an all-time fielding percentage leader is Troy Tulowitzki at .986, right ahead of Omar Vizquel, Jimmy Rollins, Mike Bordick, and Ray Sanchez.
And Vargas charges with Furcal running. 2 outs.
This is a great look from the Hyundai Cam. See how he planted off that right leg to get the momentum, then to shift going towards first base. Front arm tucked in, comes right over the top, 4-seam. That ball will stay straight that way. It won't run on you or die at the end.
Martin with another chance for Tulowitzki. Great inning for Belisle. We have said that a bunch this year. It was an 8-pitch inning. Rockies trying to get the bats together, trailing by And is brought to you by Chase, introducing the 1% mortgage cash back. Chase, what matters? By Tri-State Generation, the power behind your local energy co-op. By Yokohama, technology drives better tires. And by the Courtyard by Marriott on the 16th Street Mall. Call 303-571-1114 and ask about our hometown sports package. Lower downtown Denver, fourth meeting this year between the Dodgers and the Rockies. And though the Rockies had a 40-0 lead, it's the Dodgers with a 5-4 lead here in the bottom of the seventh. Drew Goodman, Jeff Houston, Alana Rizzo. The seventh inning is the Burger King Whopper inning. If Colorado hits a home run during the seventh inning, Burger King will offer a free Whopper with the purchase of a large drink the following day between 4 and 6 at participating restaurants only. Clint Barmes has hit a home run tonight. Came in the fourth inning. And Troncoso, who had a 1-2-3 sixth inning, as the first pitch to Barmes in there for a strike. Melvin Mora is on deck. He came in the double switch last inning at third base. On to the Coors Light Cold Hard Blast, the fourth inning home run of Clint Barmes. He got all of it. Coors Light Cold Hard Blast. Barmes has gone on 3 pitches.
They went fastball, and a curveball. Now with Melvin Mora coming up, he got lefties right after that. That's why Hung-Chi Kuo was up. Look for Troncoso to be his last batter. They'll bring in Kuo to go right after the lefties. He's the late guy in the bullpen. They have one other guy, Scott Elbert, who they just called up today.
And this is line to right and fair. Lee Johnson did a great job holding Moore to a single. He was positioned in that direction to begin with. And I'll tell you what, you remember that play, because ordinarily 9 times out of 10, that's a double all the way.
Well, Reed Johnson can play left field, center field, and we see it right here in right field. Melvin Moore takes the fastball that's up, keeps the hands inside, drives it to right field, but Reed Johnson cuts it off, spins, and then makes a strong throw to second base to hold Melvin Mora to a single. Melvin thought about going for 2, but being down by a run, he just can't get thrown out there. One hop right on the money.
They're trying to get Guo some more bullets fired in the bullpen. Here comes Torrey.
I'm not sure what they're waiting for. Kuo was throwing during the last half inning.
Well, with Gonzalez, Smith, and Helton in succession, as Jeff Houston just described, you knew this was coming if you're Jim Tracy. Hung-Chi Kuo, who's one of the top left-handed relievers in baseball. He throws gas. 1 on, 1 out, 5-4 Los Angeles. Back to Coors Field. Tracy on the left, Joe Torre on the right. Dodgers up 5-4, one on with one out in the 7th inning. Carlos Gonzalez coming up, and he'll face Hung-Chi Kuo. Now, Kuo is used as a setup man late, and then you have Belisario left to set things up for Jonathan Broxton. That's the guys that Joe Torre's looking at right now.
Yeah, and that's why Jim Tracy, he's sitting there. He's going to go counter, try to counter that. Maybe he's got the opportunity with Seth Smith hitting next to go to a Ryan Spilborghs if he didn't want Seth to face Hung-Chi Kuo. The only thing is then you would lose his ability to hit off Jonathan Broxton in the 9th. But Ryan Spilborgh's 3 for 5 in his career off of Broxton. So those are all the things that Jim Tracy's kind of looking at as far as what he wants to do.
You saw that Kuo has not given up a hit against a lefty this year. That was not a misprint. Lefties are 0 for 10, so most managers don't even let their lefties face them. The Rockies lefties are good against lefties typically. For instance, Carlos Gonzalez hitting .375 against left-handed pitching this year, 18 for 48. That's a quick arm, isn't it, Huey?
It is. It really gets up and then right through the zone.
Here's Yamika hit zone on Cargo with a 1-1 count.
And that 108 average, those are typically the sliders that are away from Carlos from the lefties.
Last fastball at 95 from Kuo. And there's the slider.
At 95, that's what you have to set up for as a hitter. And then he throws that slider away from you at 87. Just all out of whack when you go to swing at it.
Who brings an 11-inning scoreless streak into tonight's ball game. That was at 96.
Everything about Kuo is different than what you typically see from the guys from the Far East. There's really not a whole lot of hesitation or deception in his motion. Most of those guys, that's what they're all about. But Kuo gets it, high leg, quick leg kick, and that quick arm.
And he strikes out Gonzalez. 2 outs, and Smith will be called back for Ryan Spilborghs.
Just straight four-seamer from Kuo. Hyundai Cam shows that they were just trying to elevate it. Almost couldn't catch up to it.
Spilborghs rediscovered his swing yesterday. Been working hard with Don Baylor on not barring that left arm.
The front arm, keeping a little bend in it. Best thing that could have happened to him yesterday. He had to take 2 approaches going the other way.
Ended up with a single, double, and a home run yesterday. Very good fastball hitter.
Kuo shook off a couple fastballs to get to the slider.
And it's 2-0. Colorado Lottery replay yesterday against Dan Herron. That was the 3rd of the back-to-back jacks. Again, from now until the 30th of June. Play those non-winning scratch tickets at coloradolottery.com. Moore at first, 2 outs. Rockies down a run. 2-1. Spilborghs will stay in the game in all likelihood in left field.
He's also 3 for 4 in his career off of Kuo. Yeah, he'll stay in there because you still want to be able to have Dexter Fowler's speed on the bench late in the ball game in case Jason Giambi comes up, gets on base, you can pitch run for him.
Dexter, 2-2 count on Spilborghs. Giambi, who started yesterday, looking on.
He's already been down underneath the tunnel, getting loose. He'll go back down again there, top half of the 8th inning.
And this is a break. The count is full. So Mora will be moving with the pitch. Which again, if Spilborghs can hit a gap, will give Melvin an opportunity to come all the way around.
And the only difference here, though, Drew, is they're going to go ahead and keep James Loney on first base. If it was a left-handed hitter, they would back him off because they didn't want him to pull the ball. But with the righty up, he's going to go ahead and hold Mora on. Boy, everything in off of Spilborghs. From Quo, we just saw it on the 4th strike zone.
Helton hoping for an opportunity here in the 7th inning. 5-4 LA. Hits are even at 6 apiece. Ball 4. And now the tying run to second.
In everything, and then they tried to go down and away from him, and was out of the zone. Ryan gets the walk.
Helton this year hitting .333, 15 for 45 left on left. Again, this is a tough lefty. And that misses ball 1. Tulowitzki on deck.
Outfielders kind of shifting around to left center field off of Helton. Matt Kemp shaded on the 3rd base side.
I think more than likely, if Todd gets a hit, it's going to be to left or left center. And Manny Ramirez doesn't throw well. I don't know how that was a strike.
That was way outside the zone. Jerry Meals missed one down. Especially the way Russell Martin caught that ball.
Be kidding me. He set up away, and then he reached basically outside his left shin guard.
And it didn't even frame it with turning the glove the right way. He caught it going away from the plate. Same place almost. Maybe down just a little bit more, but same location on the strike zone.
Todd 1 for 5 in his matchups with Quo. Mora at second. Spilborghs the go-ahead run at first. Three and 1. Bases loaded. Should be the situation right now.
It should be. You can't even see the number 3 because the 4 is right on top of it. And then that just shows you they're pitching Todd away and they're going to play him away.
Three and 2.
Todd still has to honor that fastball. That last one from Quo put a little extra on at 97 miles an hour.
Three and 2, runners off, and it's line foul into the seats. And that one also at 97. Well, Helton in his last at bat had 1 sleeve on. Now he's got 2 sleeves on.
You can change the color of them too.
Not too superstitious,
No,
is he?
not at all. Runners just have to make sure that he delivers the ball to home. He can't get caught on an inside move, anything like that.
Swung on and missed. Quo wins the battle with Helton, and the Rockies leave 2 aboard. We'll go to the 8th. The Dodgers 5 and the Rockies 4. If you're just joining us, had a 4-0 lead. Jeff Francis was cruising with a 4-1 lead until the 6th inning. He gave up 4. Manny Ramirez, the key ingredient for the Dodgers in that inning. He had a 2-run home run off of Francis to give the Dodgers a 5-4 advantage. Here's the curveball for a strike from Belisle. Manny in the 6th inning with a home run to right center field. His first home run since April 18th. And believe it or not, folks, the first ball he has ever hit out at Coors Field. And I know Manny spent really his entire career in the American League, Cleveland and Boston. But he's been in a Dodger uniform for, he's been to Coors Field coming into the game for 41 at bats, and usually it doesn't take Manny long to hit one out.
He's somewhere in the neighborhood of once every 15 or so at bats. Yeah, I thought that was a misprint until I really looked at that and said, nope, it wasn't.
The Rockies are going to get Belisario in the 8th inning. They'll have Tulowitzki leading off. Manny's got big numbers against Matt Belisle. Ronald Belisario. This pitch Manny swung on to end the ball game yesterday in Chicago. Breaking ball way off the plate.
Southwest Sky Cam checked his swing that time. Yeah, the Dodgers were shut out yesterday 1-0. 7th time they've been shut out this year. Only happened 8 times all of last year.
Yeah, they were shut out in 2 of the 3 ball games in Chicago. And Ramirez a strikeout victim. Crowd loves it.
Four-seam fastball from Matt Belisle and just blew it by Manny Ramirez. The bottom hand came off the bat a little bit.
Matt Kemp, who got the Dodgers on the board with a solo home run leading off the 5th inning. Takes strike 1. Dodgers are under 500 on the road. They're 11-13. Fastball at 94. I said this the other day, and I'm going to say it again. If you had numbers against Matt Belisle, like Manny Ramirez 4 for 5, and it was earlier pre-Colorado days against Belisle, I dismiss all those. He's a different pitcher.
Well, I mean, even the first part of last year, before they sent him out and they called him back up, some of those numbers might apply, but he's reinvented himself now. I mean, he is a completely different pitcher, more confidence on the hill. You can just tell by his demeanor that he knows what he wants to do, and he gets it done.
He does get it done. Works very quickly also. Our Breaks Plus poll of the game. All right, which is the bigger rivalry for you, the Diamondbacks or the Dodgers? Well, overwhelmingly, people believe the Dodgers. And right now I'm inclined to agree. I mean, Arizona's been down the last couple of years, and I understand there's going to be, the Arizona club is closest in proximity. The Diamondbacks are going to share a facility with the Rockies. They've shared Tucson the last couple of years. But from the Rockies' perspective, they've always chased the Dodgers. Only one time in their history since '93 have the Rockies finished ahead of the Dodgers. That was 2007.
Well, Eric Burns isn't with the Diamondbacks anymore either. You're right, Dodgers are the team now that you always feel like you're chasing.
Of course, the Dodgers' big rival will always be the Giants. Institute in Denver, where you can make the world your workplace. Rockies were cruising, but then the Dodgers came up with 5 runs between the 5th and 6th inning, all against Jeff Francis. Jeff, at one point, had got 16 in the 3rd without giving up a run. He's on the short end right now. Rockies need to rally. They're running out of opportunities. Ronald Belisario will take over in the 8th inning. Troy Tulowitzki, Brad Hopp, Miguel Olivo. Well, congratulations first to Megan and John Estes. Jack Corrigan's daughter Megan just gave birth a short while ago. Jack's now a grandpa, and Lisa's a grandma, to James Clyde Estes. You have the official numbers.
19 inches, 7.4 pounds, but they want to go by JC, just a slugging first baseman. I like the initials.
There you go.
Congratulations to the Corrigans and the Esteses.
Absolutely. That's great news. Jack just came by and shared that with us.
Well,
the crowd, grandpa.
He wasn't he? He was smiling ear to ear. He said cigars tomorrow.
Yep.
Numbers on Belisario. That ERA is pretty high, 7.2.
Outside, 1-2.
Belisario fastball, 94 miles an hour, sit there on the average, and a slider. That's it. Fastball, slider, and he throws that fastball three quarters of the time.
5th time he's been at Coors Field. 2-2. Tulowitzki works himself back into the count.
Manuel Corpus is up, also tossing now in the bullpen with Joe Beimel for the Rockies.
Yeah, Tulowitzki was fooled by that pitch. You can see he was a little bit out on his front foot, but kept the hands back on the slider and fouled it off. Lives for another delivery.
Well, they're the 2 guys out in the pen, and depending on what happens in this inning, if the Rockies are able to tie it up, then you'll see Manuel Corpus or get the lead. One of the 2. If not, you'll see Joe Beimel.
Ooh, boy, that was close.
Might have fooled a lot of people back there. This is a good look at what you were talking about a second ago, Drew. The way he got out in that front foot, the back foot kind of slid out, but just enough to just foul it off.
3-2 on Tulowitzki. 1 out.
A sinking fastball from Belisario at 94. Side little toe tap, got out in front, just couldn't get it because it had the depth on it.
Last 7 outs produced by the Dodgers, 5 have come via the strikeout. Brad Hopp, he's 0 for 2. An intentional walk in the 1st inning.
Fans, don't forget the next Hebrew National Dollar Hot Dog Night is Tuesday, June 8th against the Houston Astros.
Inside, 2-1. Astros got beat up by the Central Division leading Cincinnati Reds tonight, 15-6.
It'll fall to 16-32 on the season.
This ball lifted to left. Manny Ramirez moving over and making the catch. And Hom just missed that.
It was a good swing. Just had a little bit of movement at the end from Belisario. Be able to see from the Hyundai cam where he hit it, right off the sweet spot, more towards the end of the bat. Just, we talk about a couple grains or a quarter of an inch. That's what he missed it by.
And Miguel Olivo with 8 home runs. He's at the plate. That's that hard sinker.
Well, with the double switch that happened a couple innings ago, the pitcher spot is due up next. Jason Giambi, who'd been swinging the bat down in the tunnel, grabbed one and moved his way to the on-deck circle.
Two on Olivo. Rockies have had 2 base runners since the 4th inning. A 7th inning single by Mora and a 7th inning walk to Spilborghs. Strike 3. We'll go to the 9th inning. Still stuck on 5-4 Los Angeles. By you. At Coors Field, we've arrived at the top of the 9th inning. The Rockies trailing the Dodgers 5-4. The postgame report will follow tonight's final. And Tom Helmer back in Captain Kirk's seat.
That's right. You know, you threw me off guard. I'm not ready for Captain Kirk tonight. But I will tell you this. Take a good look again. We're going to take another look back at Clint Barmes' controversial home run. You got me, Drew. You finally stumped me. Also, Public Enemies #1, Manny Ramirez. It's his first homer ever at Coors Field. We'll break down Manny Ramirez, and we'll get you down into the clubhouse. I can't believe it, Drew. I wasn't ready for Captain Kirk, and I've got to, mister. I've got to be ready for that.
There you go.
There I go. It took me a while to get amped up.
You take a couple,
I'm out here with all the fun people.
You take a couple days off and you lose your groove.
I do. I lose it, man. I cannot take days off. I'm useless.
All right, Tom. We'll check with you in a little bit.
All right.
Joe Bible will take over for the Rockies, and the pitcher spot, which is now the 6th hole for LA, is due up. So we'll get a pinch hitter here, and it'll be Xavier Paul.
Lefties hitting off Joe Beimel this year, just 6 for 30, 200 average. With all the right-handers already in the lineup for the Dodgers, the only other right-hander they would have left to pinch hit would be the backup catcher, A.J. Ellis.
ball to help. On pitch, and Paul is retired.
It just kind of goes right along the theme of Joe Beimel this year, averaging a little over 12 pitches per inning, which is the lowest mark among all major league relievers.
The Rockies in the 9th inning will have Giambi, I'm sure, leading off, and then it'll be Barmes scheduled and Mora after that. The only players left on the Rockies bench, Giambi, Fowler, and Iannetta. Reed Johnson pushes a bunt to Helton, and Beimel, did he win the race? He did.
I didn't think so. I mean, no, I thought he beat it, but I just didn't think he would be able to get over there.
You know what? That's all those off-season workouts in Southern California by Beimel. He's a little quicker this year.
A push bunt by Reed Johnson, try to get it by the pitcher. Helton just flips it out of his glove, doesn't have time to even get it. Beimel gets over there and beats him by half a step. Look at the lead throw from Todd Helton from the Hyundai Cam right into the chest of Joe Beimel, catches it, steps on the bag right before Reed Johnson gets there.
And clears himself also from a collision.
He stays on the inside part of the bag, doesn't go to the top of the bag.
How well done was that?
You just can't diagram it any better, and these guys really haven't worked on it since spring training. And even then, it's just a couple days because Joe came in late.
And it's never at that speed.
No. It's about half that speed, if that.
Jamie Carroll takes a strike. Just can't stop singing the praises of Joe Beimel. "17 scoreless innings now, consecutive by Beimel. It'll be 17 in the 3rd. 4-pitch inning for Beimel also. We'll go to the bottom of the 9th inning. The Rockies will have to rally again. And Xavier Paul is in the ball game in right field. And the big man is on the hill for LA. Jonathan Broxton, he had only one save, Huey, through the first 28 ball games this year for LA. And he has 10 in the last 18.
That's part of the reason why in their last at least 15 ball games, the Dodgers are 10-4, because this man's been getting the opportunity to come in and save some games. They're falling behind. Pitchers starting pitching for the Dodgers was not very good, and now they've gotten better at it, and that's why Broxton's getting the opportunities now. Jason Giambi in his career against Broxton's only faced him one other time, and that was out in LA earlier this year.
Now Barmes, who's due up next, he's 0 for 6. And Melvin Mora, who will follow Barmes, is 1 for 1.
Well, if Giambi can get on, then you can pinch run with Dexter Fowler. He's at first base. You can have Clint Barmes bunt. First things first, getting Giambi on.
Shift is on. 3 infielders on the right side. And that pitch misses at 95. When we saw Broxton earlier, we noted this. Instead of 98 to 101, he was more 94, 95. Still hard, still not easy to hit.
And a few more breaking pitches.
And that pitch was up at 96. Giambi feeling much better about himself offensively after getting 14 at bats in Kansas City. Hitting a home run, double, triple. Excuse me, single double. There was no triple there for Giambi.
No, but also getting 3 at bats in yesterday's ball game, having a sac fly and an RBI too.
Yeah, the sac fly was a line shot to fairly deep left field. He hit it well. That's called a strike. 1-2.
Kind of the floating zone tonight from Jerry Meals.
He's widened the dish by 3 inches.
Can't cover it all.
Got it. And gets caught. And the Rockies have the leadoff man on, and Dexter Fowler will go and run for Giambi.
Jason Giambi wears a little pad, that blue pad that you see on that forearm and elbow. As big as those arms are, that ball does not even dent him. And they can't try to pull the arm in, hit him right on the tricep. Drops down, go to first base. It just doesn't get any better right now for the setup. If you're Jim Tracy, you got a fast runner at first base. Dexter Fowler, Barmes 0 for 6 in his career against Broxton. Well, he just has to try to lay down the bunt.
Maybe the best bunter on the team.
Definitely.
I'll tell you what, Barmes, who is not afraid of taking one for the team either. I mean, we've seen him do it dozens of times through the years.
You just kind of wonder how he got out of the way of that, but smartly he's able to pull the bat back. Notice how he just kind of squares his top half. He doesn't rotate all the way. If he would have rotated and kind of faced the pitcher, he would have got hit. Don't be too fine if you're Clint Barmes. You got a fast runner over at first base. Just lay it somewhere out in front of home plate. Doesn't matter if it's the first or third.
One and one to count.
Jim Tracy flashing all the signs of Richie Dower. He'll go through the set of signs again. Typically what happens if you have the bunt in this situation, they don't give the bunt sign again. It just stays on until they would take it off.
Now the 1-2 count.
Barrel just drops down a little bit too much. Instead of having that 45-degree angle at the end, he just lost the barrel.
We get another swipe at it. Another opportunity to get it down.
Now this might be where you see Broxton in that hard slider, though.
He was swinging. I thought they'd keep the bunt on, and Barmes upset as he fails to get the bunt down, which is unusual for Clint. So now there's one out. Mora coming up. It was a high fastball. And now you have to think about running Fowler, don't you?
You do, with Broxton and the high leg kick. Not a guy that would hold a lot of runners on. He's not going to change his approach just because there's a guy at first base. And Russell Martin just 10 for 33 now with the stolen base from Gonzalez back in the second, throwing out runners right about a 30% average.
This guy's hard to hit. It's hard to imagine bunching a couple of hits, which forces your hand a little bit if you're Jim Tracy. Think about moving Fowler at first base. He's looking hard at Richie Dower. What was the time to the plate?
That one was pretty quick, 1.2. The other thing he did, though, is he held the runner a long time over at first. Kind of locked Dexter Fowler up. You want to try to see if the pitcher goes by the time he comes set within 2 seconds to home plate. That one was about 3.5 seconds.
Not going, and Mora a little bit behind the fastball, and that was even a little quicker. Broxton getting the ball to the plate.
Just the fastballs now. The last 3 times Jonathan Broxton just said forget it, here it is, try to hit it. I don't think he can. 95 miles an hour. He struck out Clint Barmas. Now he's gotten ahead of Melvin Mora, 0-2.
You know, one thing that Tracy's thinking about is that the guy on deck he wants to see swing the bat before this game's over, and that's Carlos Gonzalez, which may, say to himself, there's no way I'm going to run and have the third out potentially made at second base. Outside.
Well, and the other thing, too, with Broxton, everything that he's thrown's been up in the zone. What's the easiest throw for a catcher to make? It's a pitch, a fastball that's up in the zone to make the easy transfer to throw down to second. Gonzalez 1 for 1 in his career off of Broxton. You still have to anticipate, even if you're not going to steal, maybe he buries a ball in the dirt, gets away from Russell Martin.
This ball's hit well to right field. Paul going back, is going to make the catch. Fowler, very smart play. He tagged up and moved into scoring position. Very sharp play by Dexter Fowler.
Good point, Drew, because most of the time when that ball's hit to right field, what do we talk? To go halfway. But Dexter understood, you know what? Xavier Paul is playing a little bit deeper. He goes back, sees where the flight of the ball is. This is where knowing your outfielders before the ball is hit, tags up with his right foot, goes into second base easily.
That's a great read. Because if he thinks it's going to touch down, he's got to be 2/3 of the way to second base to give himself an opportunity to score if it rattles around in the corner.
But you have to check the outfielders before that play even happens. He knew that because of the speed of Broxton, where Melvin Mora hit the ball to right field earlier, Xavier Paul had already moved over towards the line and backed up a couple steps. So Dexter Fowler saw that before that play even happened, and then he was wise to go back, tag up. Now all it takes is a broken bat, a seeing eye ground ball, and the ball game's tied.
So Carlos Gonzalez, 2 for 4. Against Jonathan Broxton with the tying run at second and 2 outs in the ninth. 5-4 LA. And he didn't give him the fastball. He went sliding. Spilborghs is on deck. Saw Russell Martin looking at the dugout, give Joe Torre a long look to see if they wanted to pitch to him. Now it's unconventional to put the winning run on base.
But the only thing is Spilborgh's 3 for 5 in his career off Broxton.
Well, since a manager has to compute very quickly. Here's the 1-0. Outside and high, 2-0. Gonzalez in the ball game in the first. Sharp ground ball up the middle. He would come around to score. And then a soft single to center field.
There's a lot of area out in left center field to right center field. Kemp's playing very deep, as is Xavier Paul in right field. The only one that's playing halfway normal would be Reed Johnson over in left field.
And now they're going to go ahead and put on Gonzalez with the count 2-0. So they're going to pitch to Spilborghs. Spilborghs came into the ball game as a pinch hitter in the 7th inning and stayed in left field. He pinch hit for Seth Smith with Quo on the hill. And he'll come up with 2 aboard. And being the hero is nothing foreign to Ryan Spilborghs.
It's just a little unconventional if you're Joe Torre, because now you put the winning run on base and also a guy that has tremendous speed. So if a ball gets hit in the gap, you have a chance, if you're the Rockies, to win the ball game.
This gives you an idea of how rapidly the reputation of Carlos Gonzalez has risen in this game. So the tying run at second, the winning run at first. Spilborghs against Broxton with 2 outs in the 9th, 5-4 Los Angeles. Got a slider, pulled it foul.
That's what the first 3 guys of this inning, he went straight fastballs. The last 2 has gone to the hard slider.
Spilborghs this year, 14 opportunities with runners in scoring position, and he has 6 hits, a .429 average. That's the hardest ball he's thrown. That was 98. 1-1 on Spilborghs. Another slider, 1-2.
That one was hard. That 90-mile-an-hour slider after the 98-mile-an-hour fastball. Both sliders this time have gotten Ryan. You have to sit fastball, and if he gives you the slider, hopefully you leave it up and in on you.
1 ball and 2 strikes as Broxton stares in at Martin, and now they'll confer.
Well, Martin first of all wanted to go slider away, and then he wanted to go fastball away, and then he called for the fastball in. Broxton shook off all 3.
Martin had to go out. He said, what's left?
Well, that's all you have. You have fastball, slider. Okay, what do you want to throw, and where do you want to throw it?
Great speed on base for the Rockies. 1-2 on Spilborghs. And he went slider again.
Ryan just checking to make sure that bat wasn't cracked because he hit it off the end of the bat. Monday Cam right off the end and just got enough of it and hooked it foul.
Spilborghs crouching a little bit. 2-strike approach. Well, that's a tough pitch to lay off. 99 miles an hour. You have to make a decision in a nanosecond, and somehow Spilborghs did not fire.
And especially the ball up at your eyes. It just comes out of the hand so big, you want to swing at it, but you can't catch up to it.
I think he probably goes back slider here.
I think he does too, Drew. He's going fastball away. Shook off the slider, and it looked like they're going to try to paint on the outside corner.
And he got it. Broxton gets the save. The Rockies fall to the Dodgers 5-4. They failed to hold a 4-0 lead that they had midway in this baseball game. And the Dodgers have now won 3 of 4 against the Rockies this year after taking 14 of 18 a year ago. And the Rockies' win streak at 5 is snapped by the Dodgers. Tonight's delivery of the game brought to you by Jimmy John's. With the game 4-3 and a man aboard, Manny Ramirez, who's done very little over the last month for LA. Does a lot there. His first home run ever at Coors Field, a 2-run shot, and that was the difference tonight in the ball game as the Dodgers win it 5-4. Our Jimmy John's delivery of the game. The players of the game, we say it's plural because it's brought to you by Granger for the ones who get it done. The bullpen, the difference tonight. The Dodgers bullpen, 4 shutout innings. They allowed only 1 hit and they struck out 8. So the Rockies failed to get it in play. And it was really a full night for the bullpen for LA because Carlos Monasterios was making just his 2nd career start. Ordinarily, he works out of the pen. Dodgers win it 5-4 to take game 1 of this 3-game set. The post-game report is up next. Stick around.